Yeah, we're ready, Tim.
Go ahead.
All right, good evening, everybody. I would like to call this meeting to order, and I will turn it over to Mr. Palvino.
And I see we have 4 board members present, so we have a quorum. So welcome, everybody. Welcome this evening to the Fulton City School District 21-22 Budget Forum. I'm going to go into presentation now mode. 1 second, please. And we'll be right there. Alrighty. And as I always do, I'm going to ask the question, does everybody, can you see that clearly, Ms. Cooper?
Yep, I can see it perfectly.
All right, thank you. So good evening. I'm Brian Palvino. I'm the superintendent of schools for the Fulton City School District. We're here to share the Fulton City School District 21-22 Budget Forum. As you say, you're here. If you're watching now, you're watching this on our YouTube station. If you are picking this up from our website, it will be posted. It'll be at youtube.com. You can see the link there. Also, if you have any questions prior or during the meeting, please forward them to clerk@fulton.cnyric.org. We will provide answers to any of the questions, and our goal is always within 24 hours. Of receipt. So with that, please send any questions, inquiries to us. We'll gladly answer them. I always like to start out with our mission and vision. They are central to our budgeting process. Our mission is the Fulton City community will empower students to develop the knowledge and skills to become respectful, responsible, productive citizens who are committed to lifelong learning. And every budget and every resource we have also drives us toward our vision. And our vision is to create a learning organization that is the centerpiece of the community where all are welcome and held to standards of excellence that foster hope and resilience for the future. Our beliefs are that all students can learn, that expectations drive outcomes, that it is our responsibility to foster a culture of growth in our schools and community. Our community support is essential to the success of our students, and positive, safe, and supportive environments are vital. We also have a set of guiding principles, which I won't read. I will point out, though, that one of the things that we're constantly doing, and this is the budget in the 4th one, is that the Fulton City School District shall be fiscally responsible through using sound and efficient practices in all matters.
Mr. Palvino,
Yeah.
your slides are not in.
Your slides aren't progressing.
They aren't.
They are not.
Okay, they are on my screen. All right, let's try something different.
Oh, there it goes.
There you go.
Yep.
All righty, we'll back up here just to review here. So obviously, I'm going to be looking to my right because my screen is right here. So we've gone through the mission and vision. So you have those. Is that what's on the screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So our mission and vision, our guiding principles and beliefs are there for your reference. Coherence is in the Fulton City School District. One of the things we started with a couple of years ago now was a 5-year plan. And what this really is about is ensuring that we require making sense, sticking together, and connecting. It requires consistency of purpose, practice, and shared commitment. And one of the things that we've learned through the pandemic, and this is where I want to thank all of our families and students, faculty, staff, administration, our board of education, our budget committee that worked on this. We've been sticking together. We've been creating that collective, coherent work here in Fulton throughout this pandemic and well before. And we were poised moving into the pandemic, not knowing that that was coming. For example, with our digital learning initiatives, with our work that we had done around early literacy, our work that we had done around STEM and STEAM, and all of those kinds of things that was well on our way, all helped us to negotiate the elements associated with the pandemic and COVID-19. So I want to express my appreciation because it was a big lift and there was a lot of support, and I want to thank you for all your flexibility during these fluid times. So our focus is on focusing direction, it's developing a collaborative culture, it's deepening our learning, and it's securing accountability in our programs. And this budget will let us continue the work that we've started as our foundation, and the work that we plan to implement in the 21-22 school year. Next slide is the 21-22 Fulton City School District Board of Education budget parameters. They line up with the Strategic Coherence Plan. So the Strategic Coherence Plan has 6 elements: leadership, literacy, instruction, social, emotional, developmental health, family engagement, and innovation. And with each one of those, the board has asked us to stay focused on the following areas. So I'm going to work us down into the next slide. So I'm going to go down here a little bit as I'm driving here. And this breaks down a little larger so you can see them. So in the areas of leadership, we've really been working on communications. And we've got, this year we implemented brand new website. We've got mass communication elements in place that you may be noticing if you're a member of any of those, including an application that we now have. So if you'd like that application, you can get that information through our website. So our communication plan was a big part of our strategic coherence plan, and it proved so important during these times as we had to communicate more than ever during the last year and a half. And we've learned a lot about communications, and I think we get better each and every day. Also, our securing long-term fiscal health. This has been a goal that we've had as a district each and every year. And we looked at, and we've been able to do that. We've worked within the tax cap. We were able to weather the COVID-19 in the New York State and the federal impacts. We were able to manage our fund balance. I'm proud to say that we're right at our maximum allowable amounts, which is great news. And we continue to adjust our staffing to enrollments and really maximizing all of our resources. All things to be very proud of, and we want to continue to do in the area of leadership. In the area of literacy, we've been working with the Oswego County Literacy Initiative. All of our teachers were trained in the language essentials for teaching reading and spelling, and that's all about the science of reading. And we've done that with our teachers, and we could see that coming through. And just prior to COVID hitting, we had hit our data was showing significant increases for our young people with their reading skills, and we were on the precipice of some great things, and we're continuing with that work. And we've continued throughout the pandemic. And so I think we're in good shape there. We want to continue to build on that as our skill, as the teachers' skills and knowledge. We've brought that to them. We're seeing that application in the classrooms and ultimately with the performance of our students. We also are focused on our tier 2 and tier 3 supports, that extra small group, individualized support to meet kids' needs. Obviously going to be absolutely essential as we move in back into full-time learning here in the fall and full engagement and closing any gaps that are there for any of our students. So again, we're going to build upon that. Again, strong systems were in place going in, allowed us to kind of weather this, and now we want to come out the other side and get rolling as quickly as we can and get up to speed for the benefit of all of our students and our families. Next slide is instruction. And again, I'll just pick a couple of those things, but that first one is really this budget and all of the federal stimulus funds that are one-time funds that are not supporting this budget, but are all supplemental, will allow us to be responsive to new student and teacher post-pandemic needs. Going to be essential as we transition our kids back in. And those of you in the community will hear about summer programs that we're putting together and things like that as we transition back in, ensuring that our kids come in as smoothly as possible. Social, emotional, developmental health, another area of where we're implementing evidence-based social, emotional learning curricula, pre-K through 12th grade. Once again, Bolton was a part of our strategic coherence plan. It was work that we've been doing on right along, and we've strengthened that through our coherence plan. And so once again, going into the pandemic, we were once again in a good place as far as being able to try to figure out ways and build upon ways to better reach and serve the needs of our kids, whether remotely, in person, or hybrid. So great opportunities there. As I look down through here, we'll continue to build our staff capacity for social emotional learning, trauma-sensitive practices, and culture-responsive practices, all of those pieces. And we've got to make sure that more than anything now is how do we re-engage everyone and get people excited and our kids excited and our families excited. And I believe this budget, coupled with our federal stimulus as we design those plans in the near future, those things together, we have a great opportunity to strengthen a positive school culture, and all of our trauma-sensitive practices as well. This budget's going to help us with our family engagement, our communication systems, which I already mentioned, back to school protocols for this September, all of the student-led conferences, all of those types of things. Any ways we can figure out innovatively to better interact and engage with our families and our students. Big part of our strategic coherence plan, and will continue to be a part of our work in the 21-22 school year. Innovation, our digital learning initiative, we went with our one-on-one Chromebooks and all of those pieces prior to, that was part of our plan back in 18-19. We were already well on our way, and then all of a sudden we were faced with new challenges, and we were able to provide Chromebooks for students and access to technology through hotspots and all of different creative, innovative ways. We were already moving forward, whereas in some situations, school districts had to get up to speed. We had already had those in place. We had started professional development, coaching for our teachers. How do you use this great technology in innovative ways so that we can have kids utilize that technology to create better learning opportunities and creative problem solving and all of those great things. We also did a drone certification licensure program this year, which was really exciting for our kids. That built on an innovative approach, our Fibonacci project, which was our robotics and our STEM work that we had done in previous years. So once again, showing you how our budgets and our plans are going coherently together, where the budgets support the work and the work is getting right down where it belongs, which is with our students. Exciting this year. So those are our 6 areas that our budget really hones on all of those areas and supports that. The exciting part this year for the budget was we started off in January hearing about, we may be 20% short. We may see resources withheld. However, in the end, our foundation aid, which is our state aid, increased to $36,744,000, which puts us at 90.5% of the formula. Hopefully, as is brought up in this year's budget process, and thank you to our local representatives, our state senator and our state legislators for the work, the assemblyman, around making sure and having a goal of fully funded foundation aid. Right now, that would mean $40,599,000 if we were fully funded right at this moment. So that's really good, a great opportunity. We hope that comes to fruition over the next couple of years so that we can keep our oars and our rudder deep with our strategic coherence plan and continue with the depth and the breadth of the work that we're doing to ensure that all aspects of a student's experience are positive and we're able to individualize to students' needs as much as possible. You go down here a little bit further. So here is our proposed budget for the 21-22 school year. Our proposed expenditures are $76,230,000. That's a $2,453,000 increase, or 3.3% increase. $52 million just over comes from our state aid. Our tax levy will remain the same, a 0% increase in our tax levy. That'll be $21,613,705. That is the same figure that is in the 2021 school year. Other revenues include your payment in lieu of taxes, your pilot agreements, your Medicaid funds, those types of things. That comes in at $2,034,500. We are going to use a bit of our reserves, $356,000. The good news about our reserves is we were at 4%, and the law requires you cannot exceed 4%. So we were already there. So for us to take a little bit out of there, so that's, if you will, your savings, we're going to take $356,000 and we're going to balance the budget. And then right now, if we continue on our course this school year, we're underspending our 2020-2021 budget, which is great news. Our board has been doing a great job. We provide a monthly report at the second meeting of the month. So if you're interested, those are on our website. They're on our board docs, and you're able to see those. You'll see that we're underspending at this point in time, and hopefully that would be great news, because we'll replace those monies that we took out of reserves and put them right back into reserves, meaning that we are poised in the future to at least have our maximum reserves in case of any other issues that may evolve due to funding, due to state, federal issues that may impact funding at the local level. So all good news. The next slide just kind of pulls that out and shows you the budget to budget increase of 3.3% and the 2.453. And that's really, the adjustments are related to contract costs, salary and benefits. We're adding one special education classroom, 12 students, a teacher, and a teacher assistant. So you'll see that we're adding the teacher and the assistant are part of the cost. And this budget maintains all programs and supports. And I think that's always important to see in a budget. Maintains programs and supports. It also allows us to build on all aspects of the strategic coherence plan and all of the initiatives associated with that. So all good news. Also, part of this process is to really show you the budget notice as part of the required components of the budget forum. And what you see on this is your budget adopted for 2021. That's the budget that we're in right now. The $73,777,000 is our current budget. Our proposed budget moves to $76,230,000. And our contingency budget, as you see on the right, is $76,080,000. The percentages equivalent of each are 3.3%, which I mentioned previously in this discussion or in this forum. It would be 3.1% if we went to contingency. Proposed tax levy, as you see in the current year, it's $21,613,303. As you see in the budget that's proposed, it is an identical number at the $21,613,305. And in a contingency, it would stay the same as well. Our permissible exclusions are listed. And then that's the remainder. So you can see the proposed levy excluding permissible. There are no permissibles, so it remains the same. This breaks into the three parts of a budget. And three parts of your budget are your program. That's your kids. That's right down at your classroom level, all the instructional aspects. That's that part of the budget. Then the capital part of the budget is all your facilities, maintenance, and all of those aspects of the organization makes the organization go. And then your administrative costs as well. And you'll see that we had a $1.3 million increase in program. Our capital went up about $600,000, and our administrative is $478,000. Alrighty. And now it breaks out a little bit more. These breaks it out now in a larger aspect. So you can see some more of the elements that are within the program. So these are instructional supplies, materials, employee salaries, benefits. So you'll see the regular education components from the current year to the next year, special education, special school, student services, and associated benefits. And then our students with disabilities summer school as well. So that's where that increase from $55,825,000 to $57,200,463 is derived from. Our next slide is the capital component. This is our district facilities and debt service. This is your operations, your maintenance, your debt, and the benefits associated with those positions. And you'll see a slight increase there, just about $600,000, $10,374,000 to $10,973,985. And finally, in the final area, it's the Board of Education costs, which includes the costs of the clerk and things like that, which is shared with the superintendent secretary, central administration, supervision and curriculum, finance, personnel, BOCES, and administration and others, which is, as you can see, $2.5 million there. Benefits associated with all of those positions for the totals moving from $7.577 million to $8,055,552. For those of you who like to see things more graphically, our revenue percentages, 68.5% comes from state aid, 28.4% comes from the tax levy, and 3.1% comes from other. So, and then also on our budget percentages, you'll see it is exactly where you'd like to see it. Almost 3/4 of the budget is driven toward program, with 14.4% driven to capital and debt, and then 10.6% to our administrative costs. So that's where you want to see that. So these two charts really point out two things. Dependent on state aid. That's why those foundation aid numbers are so important to us. And then obviously a quarter, a little over a quarter of the pie, if you will, is the local share. And then as far as the budget percentages, as I said, that's 75%. That's always a goal. You want it at least 75%. And I think we're good there. And then we've actually increased that a little bit each year. So that's a good place to be. This slide is the 2018-19 per pupil instructional expenditures per the New York State Education Department. So if you went on the New York State school report cards and you looked up Fulton City School District and you went to the fiscal supplement and you'd see that listed there, this slide would come up, the information on this slide. And what this does is this shows you how much we spend in the areas of general education and special education. And similar districts are districts that are very similar demographically. So they would be what is called our comparison group. So it may be districts of similar size, similar wealth ratios, combined wealth ratios, and we are one of the poorest districts combined wealth ratio wise. We are the third poorest district in the 3 or 4 county area, behind two districts, so putting us third, just slightly third. But our combined wealth ratio is 0.31. If you were at 1, you would be right at the 50th percentile in New York State. We are 0.3, I believe 0.31 or 0.32. So what this shows is that in Fulton, for general ed, we're at $10,347 per child for instructional expenditures. Similar districts are $12,125, and if you look at all of the schools in New York State, they're at $13,367. When you look at our special education, and we have many of our programs we brought back to the Fulton City School District a little over a decade ago, and so we don't send a lot of kids out to our BOCES and things like that. I think that may impact that cost why we're a bit lower, because we're doing it at the local level. And that's $25,789. Similars are $32,531, and all New York State schools are $32,359. So what this shows is that we are a very economic district, and I think if you look at our performance and the range of opportunities we provide our students, we are extremely competitive as well. Go down here a little bit. So that's all of the presentation of the budget aspects. I want to go through the voter propositions for 21-22. So when you go out and you vote, you'll be seeing the first item on the ballot will be the 21-22 budget proposition. Shall the Fulton City School District Board of Education be authorized to expend the sum of $76,230,000 as a general fund appropriation for the 21-22 school year, and to levy the necessary tax therefore. And remember, we're remaining the same with our tax levy. We have a 0% increase. We have a transportation proposition this year. Shall the bond resolution adopted by the Board of Education authorizing the purchase of 1 wheelchair bus for school transportation, including related furnishings and equipment incidental thereto, at a total estimated cost not to exceed $79,500, and the payment of the costs of the project by the levy of a tax upon all the taxable real property of the district in the amount of $79,500, which tax shall be levied and collected in annual installments in such years and in such amounts as may be determined by the Board of Education, and, if necessary, in anticipation of such tax, the issuance of bonds and bond anticipation notes in the principal amount not to exceed $79,500, and the levy of a tax to pay the interest on said obligations be approved. The third proposition or item that you'll be voting on and asked to be to consider is shall the Fulton Library tax proposition. shall the Fulton Public Library Board of Trustees be authorized to levy and collect an annual tax separate and apart from the annual school district budget in the amount of $447,384 for the continuing support and maintenance of the Fulton Public Library, with this appropriated amount to be the annual appropriation until thereafter modified by a future vote by the taxpayers of the Fulton City School District. The fourth area you will be considering for vote, Board of Education elections. There are 2 Board of Education seats that are up for election. They are both 3-year terms. Listed below are the candidates seeking election, which is the order of the ballot: Nicholas DeJalorum, Fallon Cooper, Jessica Papalardo, and Jennifer Mainville are the 4 candidates running for the Board of Education. There is finally an election of candidates for the library board. It's vote for 2. There are 2 vacancies, or 2 openings, 4 candidates for the library board. They are Ellen Himes and Megan Overton. Finally, we hope that you go out, we vote. Your voice is essential. The budget vote and school board election is on Tuesday, May 18th, 2021. It begins at 9 a.m. It concludes at 9 p.m. It is located at the Fulton War Memorial at 609 West Broadway in Fulton, New York, area code 13069. If you have questions, feel free to check our website, which has a budget component on our website. My number is there, and as well as our business administrator. And then if you go back to the beginning of the presentation, also you can use the clerk@fulton.cnyric.org for questions through email. And with that, I'd like to thank you for participating in our budget forum. If you have questions, please forward them. No question is a bad question. I look forward to that. And I look forward to May 18th and the vote on all of the propositions this evening. Thank you, and have a great, great evening, and welcome to spring. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Palvino. Griffin has joined us. Mrs. Griffin, shall I turn the meeting over to you? Okay.
So, Ms. Griffin, we did call an order because we had a quorum. So we did call the meeting to order at the beginning with 4 members, and now we have more. I don't know if you want to close the meeting.
I will leave it to Mrs. Cooper to finish up here. She started, so thank you, Mrs. Cooper.
Okay. So I believe, and Mrs. Griffin, correct me if I'm wrong, all we need to do to finish, well, first let me ask, does any of the board members, anybody have any questions? No? Okay. So I believe I need to make a motion. I need a motion to close the meeting, I believe.
I make a motion to close the meeting.
I second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, wonderful. Any no's? And nobody is abstaining? Fantastic. Well, thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful night. And don't forget to vote.
Thank you.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you, Fallon.